Seekers of greatness, dreamers of the impossible, and action takers on the path to success. I'm Daniel Craig Johnson, and I'm amped to be your personal guide on this exhilarating journey to self-discovery, business mastery, and life transformation. Strap in because you're about to blast through barriers, obliterate limitations, and sculpt the life you've dreamt of. Hello everybody, welcome back on the Success Blueprint. It's your host Daniel Craig Johnson. I am glad you're back. I hope you didn't miss the start of our 10-episode series on what highly intelligent people do different. It started on Monday, the 20th of November. If you haven't started with it yet, go back. You can get in anytime. You don't have to listen to them in sequence. So you can pick any one of them that interests you, but I can guarantee you all of them are very interesting. So today we are on part 4, point number 4 that I discussed in the video that I watched, and that was they are not afraid to disagree with the majority. So on that I made a complete episode, and it's called The Courage to Dissent, a Hallmark of Genius. So let's get right into it. And you know that feeling when everyone agrees with what's being said inside of a meeting or conversation, but something just feels off to you. That little voice in your head whispering that the consensus doesn't seem quite right. Highly intelligent people listen to that voice and have the courage to speak up. They refuse to go along with the crowd just to conform. Dissenting opinions make people uncomfortable, but they are so important. Some of the greatest thinkers in history were considered dissenters in their time. Galileo, Martin Luther King, the suffragettes. They refused to accept the status quo and saw beyond the limits of popular beliefs. It takes courage to dissent, especially when there are social penalties for doing so and repercussions. But that is exactly why highly intelligent people value independent thinking. They know that dissent sparks progress, and the discomfort that comes with disagreement is a small price to pay for that. So next time that little voice starts whispering to you, don't ignore it. Listen up. It just might lead you to genius. It is important that you listen to your guts and that you don't agree to everything, particularly when it comes to news, politics, public opinion swaying. Be a critical thinker. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. That is what makes you unique, and that is what people are made of that really change the world and have impact. It's not the yes-sayers, it's the ones that go against popular opinion. So one of the things that people do that are like that is they challenge conventional thinking, and that is so important. I never, ever in my life was one to agree to popular opinion, and I've never felt right standing on the side of majority. That was just not my path. Many people always told me you can only do it like this, and you will only be successful when you do that. Nonsense. You have to find your own voice, you have to find your own data, you have to observe, you have to research, and then form your own opinion. And it's always important that you know the protagonist side and the antagonist side, that you get all the data that is available on a subject matter, and that you analyze, and that you get all the critiques, that you get input from friends that you trust, but also from people that are completely against the grain. And that will help you make a concise decision and will help you to be on the side of knowledge and on the side of doing your homework to find out what works and what doesn't. As highly intelligent people, you dare to challenge the status quo. You question assumptions and conventional wisdom, bringing a fresh perspective that pushes humanity forward. Rather than accepting things at face value, you probe deeper. You ask why and what if, looking for logical inconsistencies and fallacies in popular beliefs. When something doesn't make sense, you speak up. You have the courage to dissent in the face of opposition. And that is a skill. After all, every great leap in science, technology, business, and society happened because someone challenged the prevailing view. As Steve Jobs said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And that sounds very cliche, but it is true. It is reality. So don't be afraid to swim against the current. Voice your opinions and share your ideas, even if they contradict popular opinion. Debate and discussion are how we make progress. One dissenting voice can start a movement, so speak your truth and never hold back. While it may be uncomfortable at first, stay confident in your convictions, do your research, build a logical case, and stand up for what you believe in. Politely but firmly question the way it's always been done. Propose alternative solutions and be open-minded to other perspectives. Compromise when needed, but don't back down easily. Dissent is the foundation of independence and innovation. Highly intelligent people recognize this and embrace their inner skeptic. They have the courage to challenge conventional thinking in pursuit of truth and a better way. You can too. Question everything, voice your doubts, and be willing to stand alone. That is the hallmark of a genius. Allow yourself to stand on that side when nobody else is. I remember I went to a motocross festival and I took pictures there when I just started out with photography, and all the photographers were boxed into one corner. They were standing there. No one was really going anywhere, and it was a very informal event, so there was no barriers or anything. There was just a couple of flying tapes. So I went underneath and I actually went between two humps where people were jumping over, and everyone was looking at me like, hey, what is that dude doing there? But I took some pictures there with my long lens, and one of the shots that I've taken there, even early into my photography career, was awarded, and I won an international competition with that shot because it was so great, and it was taken from right below the rider, but you can still, because it tilted sideways, see his eyes, and they were perfectly sharp and focused, but the wheels were still in like a bit of motion blur. It was a fantastic shot, and still till today is one of my best shots that I've ever taken. And why? Because I was going against the grain and I was standing somewhere where no one else was standing, and I did something that no one else would have done. And that is what it is all about. What else separates highly intelligent people from the others? Well, they are comfortable with uncertainty. Intelligent people know that uncertainty is inevitable in life. Rather than being paralyzed by doubt or indecision, they forge ahead confidently while still questioning assumptions. They embrace ambiguity. The real world is messy and complicated. Highly intelligent people are comfortable operating in the gray areas, making judgments based on imperfect information. They don't need to know all the details before taking action, because if you have to know all the details, most of the time, the train has passed, the ship has sailed. They ask lots of questions. The curious mind is one that seeks to understand. Intelligent people ask probing questions to uncover truth, gain different perspectives, and expand their knowledge. They know that there are no dumb questions. Each question leads to new insights and fuels creativity. They challenge the status quo. Original thinkers aren't content with accepting the way things are. They ponder how systems and processes can be improved. By questioning norms and long-held assumptions, breakthrough ideas emerge. Don't be surprised if intelligent people play the role of the contrarian at times. It's not to be defiant, but to uncover innovative solutions. They adapt quickly to change. The world is in a constant state of flux. I don't have to tell you about that. We all know it. We've all been part of that flux. And it rocked us and shaked us, and some of us couldn't deal with it. But intelligent people know they must keep up with the pace of change or get left behind. Rather than resisting change, they welcome it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and progress. Their mental flexibility and openness allow them to pivot quickly when needed. And pivot is such a strong word. That is what it's all about these days. Uncertainty may make some uncomfortable, but highly intelligent people have learned to embrace its possibilities. They know that through questioning, challenging assumptions, and adapting to change, uncertainty leads to new discoveries and a brighter future. And what do they do different else? They don't follow the crowd. Highly intelligent people aren't afraid to go against the grain. They don't just follow the crowd or popular opinion. Rather, they think for themselves and from their own conclusions based on facts and evidence. When the majority zooms one way, gifted minds are willing to zoom the other way if that's where the reason and truth lead. They have the courage to dissent, to stand up for what they believe in, even if it's not the popular view. This is how new ideas, innovative solutions, and groundbreaking inventions come to life. Intelligent people don't just accept things at face value. They ask lots of questions and dig deeper to determine if popular assumptions are valid or logically sound. They wonder why certain beliefs or practices came to be commonly accepted. Questioning assumptions is how progress happens. They consider alternative perspectives. While most people see only one side of an issue, Brilliant minds explore other angles and opinions. They make an effort to understand different viewpoints, even if they don't agree with them. Considering various perspectives leads to more empathy, nuance, and creativity. They think for themselves. Gifted individuals form their own opinions based on reason and facts, not on what everyone else believes. They evaluate ideas and arguments objectively without bias or emotion. Even if it's not popular, they have the courage to say what they really think. Independent thinking is a hallmark of genius. So don't be afraid to zoom in a different direction from the crowd. I've mentioned that. Question everything and have the courage to dissent. The future is shaped by independent minds. One of the things that you will always see that highly intelligent people do is they speak up even when it's unpopular. Speaking up against the majority or popular opinion takes courage. Highly intelligent people aren't afraid of that dissent and share their unique perspectives, even if it means facing criticism or rejection. They have confidence in their own reasoning and ideas. And to question the status quo is something that will always be looked at from a side angle. So it doesn't always make you popular, but that is what it is. They aren't swayed by popular opinion. Intelligent people base their judgments on facts over hype. They do their own research to determine the truth instead of blindly believing whatever they are told by friends, celebrities, or the media. They hold independent, well-reasoned views and aren't afraid to share them even if others disagree. They stand up for what's right. When a decision, a policy violates their principles, intelligent people do speak up. They have the courage to defend justice, equality, and fairness. While dissenting or whistleblowing can be difficult and risky, they prioritize ethics over conformity. They aim to create positive change rather than perpetuate the status quo. They accept being misunderstood. Voicing an unpopular opinion often means facing criticism and judgment from others. Intelligent people realize they can't control how their perspectives are received. They accept that some may find their views strange or objectionable, but they continue to express themselves openly and authentically, trusting that the right people will understand and value what they have to say. In the end, the courage to dissent comes from a place of wisdom, compassion, and inner confidence. Intelligent people think for themselves, stand up for their principles, and accept themselves, quirks and all. They realize that conformity may be more comfortable, but independent thinking is what drives society forward. So they summon the courage to speak up and share their light with the world, even when it's unpopular. It's the same like here, running a podcast. You know, some people feel offended. They feel that you are trying to share wisdom. In the meantime, you just trying to get content out there with what you have experienced and your views. That doesn't mean that that is the grand finale, you know, but that is what it is about. You go against the grain, you throw yourself out there, and sometimes you will be misunderstood. Sometimes people don't accept what you say, and you might not be popular, but it doesn't matter. You just speak your own truth. They trust their own judgment. I say it again, being willing to dissent from popular opinion is a hallmark of an intelligent mind. Highly intelligent people trust their own judgment over blindly following the crowd. And they think independently. They don't just regurgitate what they've read or been told. They analyze ideas critically and form their own opinions. They ask tough questions and look at issues from multiple sides before coming to a conclusion. Rather than accepting things at face value, smart people dig deeper to determine the truth for themselves. They don't follow trends or opinions just because everyone else is doing it. Intelligent people think for themselves and come to their own conclusions based on facts and evidence instead of groupthink. Data, data, data. And lastly, they are not afraid to rock that boat. Speaking up against popular opinion can be difficult at times, but intelligent people have the courage to dissent when necessary. They aren't afraid to be the lone voice of dissent if they believe something isn't quite right. Smart people value truth over group harmony and aren't afraid to rock the boat by pointing out uncomfortable facts or flaws in commonly accepted ideas. Rather than just going along with the crowd to avoid conflict, intelligent people have the confidence and conviction to stand up for what they believe in. They are willing to challenge majority opinions and propose alternative perspectives, even if it means facing objections or criticism. The truth for them is more important than conformity. So take a page from the highly intelligent people, have the courage to think for yourself, question assumptions, and stand up for what you believe, even if it means rocking the boat. Following the crowd is easy, but real progress happens when we dare to dissent. Trust me, I've experienced that many times in my life. I wouldn't be where I am if I always listened to what other people had to say to me when they made suggestions, or they said, no, you can't do this, or no, you're already doing this. That means you can't do something else. You can only focus your attention on one thing 100%. You're nonsense. I've done so many things and I've done them against the grain, and that led me to where I am today. I have put my life together out of 3-4 things that I'm really passionate about, and they make up my life, and I can allocate enough energy and resources to it to really be good at it, and that's what I love. So go against the grain, don't believe it. You've seen now that highly intelligent people are not afraid to go against what is popular opinion. They have the courage and confidence in their convictions to stand up for what they believe in, even if it means facing criticism or rejection. While it may be tempting to simply go along with the crowd to avoid conflict, doing so stifles creativity, innovation, and progress. So next time you have an idea or opinion that differs from the majority, I want you to speak up. Do so respectfully and thoughtfully, explaining your reasoning to foster open and productive discussion. Don't be afraid to challenge assumptions and the status quo. After all, that is how great thinkers and leaders emerge. By questioning accepted truths and having the bravery to dissent, stand up for your right to think differently and make your voice heard. You have the power to spark positive change. Now I want you to go out there and use it. The future is shaped by those with the courage to dissent. And that was part number 4. I hope you enjoyed that. Please rate the show, write me feedback, share the show, and let me know what you think. And I can't wait to bring to you the next one. It's going to be out very soon. So keep on checking on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all other podcasting platforms. And I hope you have a fantastic day. That's Daniel, your host. Take care.